Durgin. I'm the Executive Director of the Legislative Budget and Finance Committee. Briefly, we're a legislative committee, both House and Senate members who do studies as directed by the legislature, one of which was on Pennsylvania's 911 telephone system statewide. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the study generally, but also some specific about Dauphin County. This is what the report looks like if you're interested. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Thank you for inviting me here this morning to talk about the study of the state 911 system that we performed pursuant to Act 118 of 2010. The report, which our committee released in May 2012, contains 24 different finding areas, several of which have multiple recommendations. So in the interest of time, I'll limit my remarks to what I understand to be your primary area of interest, namely, what steps counties can take to ensure they are receiving all the funding they are entitled to under the current system. As you know, Pennsylvania's 911 program is funded by several different types of surcharges. I won't go into them all in detail, but wireline surcharges vary from $1 to $1.50 per month, depending on the class of the county, with larger counties having the smaller surcharges. As a third-class county, Dauphin County falls in the middle range, with a surcharge of $1.25 per wireline. These wireline revenues go directly to the county. Also, wireless customers who receive bills from a provider pay $1 per month for 911 services. And since 2011, a $1 surcharge is added to the cost of a prepaid phone or minutes purchased during retail transactions. These funds go to the Commonwealth and then are distributed to the counties through a rather complex grant formula that I won't get into, or grant program that I won't get into. One of our study objectives was to try to determine if all the telephone providers that are required to collect surcharges are actually collecting them, and if so, if they are collecting and submitting the correct amounts. Unfortunately, for some reasons I'll go into briefly, we were unable to do that. Because wireline telephone service is regulated by the PUC, we were able to get a listing of all the incumbent and competitive local exchange carriers operating in Pennsylvania. However, the PUC does not require the carriers to report how many access lines they have in each county, nor does FEMA require the counties to report how much they are receiving from each carrier. Conceivably, we could have gotten this information directly from the carriers, but we were told by both FEMA and the counties, and we knew from past experience, that the carriers consider specific county-by-county line count and customer count information to be proprietary and will not release it. Plus, there's a potentially even a bigger problem in that, by law, surcharges are based on the number of access lines, and there is no agreed-upon definition of what constitutes an access line. This wasn't really an issue in 1990 when the original legislation was enacted, but it is an issue now, particularly with the development of T1 or trunk level 1 lines. T1 lines are the digital lines that were designed to replace analog lines, and each T1 line can carry 24 separate voice-capable channels. So the unanswered question is, should a T1 line be considered one access line or 24 access lines? Obviously, that makes a huge difference in what the surcharge revenue should be. There's also the issue that just because an